Hello and welcome to the Municipal Measurement Program training video for 2021. This video has been designed to help counties, municipalities, and regional government agencies who provide residential curbside or drop-off services report to the Municipal Measurement Program within Retract Connect. If you are a state, county, or other regional agency seeking access to data entered into the MMP, please visit municipalmeasurement.com or contact us at mmp@retract.com. To begin, let's first explain what the MMP is and why it exists. The Municipal Measurement Program, otherwise known as MMP, is a free program assessment and planning tool that provides solid waste management agencies with access to powerful analytical reports designed to measure waste diversion performance and improve programs. The MMP was designed to standardize the measurement of material management programs and provide participants with decision-making tools that can improve recycling program performance. In this video today, we're going to show you some resources related to the MMP. We'll go to the municipalmeasurement.com website and show you where you can get assistance and related documents. We'll show you today also how to apply for the MMP. So if you have not already applied, go ahead and join the MMP. The application process takes 1 to 2 days to approve, and once approved, you will be able to log into Retract Connect and start entering the program surveys. So today we're also going to log into Retract Connect. I'm going to show you those surveys. I'll give you some tips on how to complete them, tips on saving your data. We'll highlight some key questions within the MMP surveys, and we'll end with reviewing some analytical reports. Throughout the training today, I'll also provide you with information on how to access program and technical support. At any time after this video, you can email us at mmp@retract.com. for any of your questions. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to take you to the Municipal Measurement website. So here we see the website, municipalmeasurement.com, and this is where you can find information about the MMP. So the MMP was designed by the Recycling Partnership and Retract Connect to create a centralized database of local government data. The whole goal is to be able to provide standardized data so that decisions can be made for improving recycling programs throughout the United States. There's lots of benefits to participating in the MMP. So this Municipal Measurements website has a lot of information about the benefits, and I'll show you the resources here in a moment. The link right at the top here is where you can apply. As I said, the application does take a couple of days to process, and we do verify all applicants. We want to make sure that we don't have multiple people reporting for the same municipality or county. So we do a review of each application and approve members as needed. If you want to find more information about participating in the MMP, you can go to the Participate in MMP, and again, here's all the benefits of participating as well as a link to join. This page also has a little breakdown of each of the analytical reports that will be found within the system. So I'll just give you a little review of those. You can print economic benefits of recycling, year-over-year trends if you are reporting to the MMP for multiple years. We have a program recommendations feature, which will give you recommendations based on how you answer questions within the surveys. All different kinds of reports that measure performance, such as pounds per household, environmental benefits reports, diversion rates, per capita reports, all sorts of great stuff. If you are a state or regional agency that's looking at getting access to this information, you can find a lot of information on this page right here, designed specifically for state, county, or regional governments who would like to see what municipalities are entering into the MMP. There's a resources page here. One of the resources I'd like to highlight here is the guide to participating in the MMP. So when you open up that resource, you'll see that there's two guides. There's one for county participation. So if you're a county that has services, drop-off and residential curbside services, or any kind of service related to residential collection, then you can look at this guide and learn how to participate. So there's 3 core surveys for each county. One related to just demographic information, one related to program delivery. So maybe you might offer MSW collection, but you might not offer organics. Doesn't matter, but this is where you would enter all the information related to the curbside programs that you deliver as a county. And here's all the information here that you would enter related to your drop-offs, county-run drop-off sites. There's some optional surveys as well related to public space and processing facilities. In the municipal guide, you'll see the same surveys. It's just they're tailored more for municipalities. So it's about your municipality, about the residential program assessment within your municipalities, and again, municipal run drop-offs. There's also a municipal public space assessment and a processing facilities assessment. These guides are helpful because they give you tips on what data to assemble before you start filling out the MMP, and again, highlight all of the reports that are available to you. So a great resource as you're preparing for the MMP, as well as after you've entered your data and you want to learn more about the reports. So once you've applied, you will get an email from us, a Retract Connect, letting you know to click on a link and set your password for your Retract Connect account. I'm going to show you how to log into Retract Connect now, but you will basically click on the link. It will let you set a password for Retract Connect, and then you will be taken to a login page. So here is the login page for Retract Connect. It's connect.re-trac, so Re-TRAC with a dash there, .com. From here, you'll enter in your email address, the email address that you used when you applied for the MMP, and click Next, and you'll be prompted to enter the password, and that would be the password that you just set up for the MMP. And then you'll get access to the MMP. For the purpose of training today, I'm not going to go into our live site. I want to be able to enter data in and show you kind of what a municipality's surveys look like without messing around in the live data. So I'm going to just go over here to a test site. And from here, I'm going to use the email address. This is my email address here. Well, not mine, but this is the email address I'm using for the training. And then I'm going to go Next, and the password that I created for this account, and go ahead and log in. Just a note, if you ever forget your password, you can click on the Forgot Password link, and an email will be sent to you with a link to reset your password. Passwords for Retract Connect are case sensitive, so if you do use capital letters, make sure to be consistent. There's a minimum of 8 characters for the password. There's no requirements for there to be numbers or symbols, so it's minimum of 8 characters, case sensitive, and they don't expire, so you can keep the same password. They don't run out or expire after a certain period of time. I'm going to go ahead and log in. So welcome to the homepage. You'll see up at the top, this is the homepage here. At any time, if you're in Retract Connect and you're perusing around and you want to get back to the home page, you just have to click home and it'll take you right back to this screen. So this is your home base. From the home page, you will see the programs that you've joined. Now, Retract Connect offers a variety of programs across the US. And so if you're interested, you can go and look for programs here. You may already have joined other programs, but because you applied for the MMP will be showing automatically under the programs that you've joined. Over on the far right-hand side here, there's a few links we'll show you. There's a support link. This will take you to our support center. From here, you'll find knowledge base articles related to Retract Connect, and you'll find options to contact our support team. There's a notifications button. From time to time, you might see this little bell turn red. When that happens, you can click on here and look at the notification. It might be related to a new feature within the system. It could be a new program that's available, information just about Re-TRAC or updates coming up, that kind of thing. To the far right is your user. So my user's name is MMP Training. You would see your name up here. And this is your user information. You can edit your user information at any time. So from the edit user, you can change your name, first name, last name. You can update your email address if you need to associate this account with a different email. You can change your time zone. Or up here, you can change your password. I just want to point out that if you do update your email in here, just remember to use that new updated email the next time you log in, because this is the email that's going to be used for logging in to Retract Connect. From the user, you can also see messages if you're using the internal messaging system, or otherwise you can log out of Retract right here as well. Back to the home page. Down at the bottom, there's a couple of other links here if you want to get into the documents related to our terms of use, our privacy policy, or accessibility standards and resources. You can click on these links here at the bottom and view those. So let's go ahead and get started and take a look at the MMP. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this tile. That will open up, we call it the members page. This will be the first page you see when you log into the MMP. You will see your municipality or county. It depends on what you've applied as, a county or a municipality, but you're going to see your municipality or county name here. This would have been created during your application process. So after you apply, we at Retract Connect will create your initial member. Now, a member within Retract Connect is basically a reporting entity. And so for the MMP, a member is the municipality or the county. Typically, one user will report data for one municipality or county. However, there have been instances where one person or one user might report for multiple municipalities. So you might see multiple members on this page. Right now, we're just seeing the one, and that was, as I mentioned, kind of a typical situation. But I just want to point out that there might be times users might see more than one member on this page. Over on the far right corner of this page, you can contact program support. So this would be if you have a question about the MMP, this pre-populates your information here, put in the subject, just click send, put in your question, and it goes to the MMP team. So it's kind of a direct link to support for MMP related questions. To the bottom of, underneath that, to the right is an export button. So if you are one of those users that reports for multiple municipalities, you can export all of your municipality information, or you can use the search bar. In this example, I don't really need to search because I've only got the one. So every member has details associated with it, like address and contact information, that type of thing. If ever you need to change or edit your member information, you can click on Edit Member. So here you can change the name of the contact person, maybe your last name changed, or maybe you want to add a website or phone number in here. Your address information is going to all come in based on your application that you applied for the MMP. So if your municipal office moves or something like that and you need to update your address, you can definitely just come in here and update any of this information. You can use the Google Maps to search for addresses and locations, or just manually enter it. I'm just going to go back to the members page. Now, when you're ready to start reporting to the MMP, just go ahead and click on this members bar anywhere along the bar, and it will take you to your workspace. So this is the workspace for the City of Springfield. So that's the member I'm using in my test account. The workspace is going to show you information related to your active workspace. I'll start with that. So if you have any surveys, so here you see all the surveys that are active right now, and we're seeing the 2020 surveys. So these are the surveys that are right now either in progress or completed for 2020. If you want to see any historical surveys, you can click on the year buttons and you can see historical information. So as mentioned in the overview, there's 3 core surveys: the About Your Municipality, which is all demographic information; the Residential Curbside Program Assessment, which is all about MSW collection, single-family recycling, multifamily recycling, and organics collection; and then, of course, your drop-off, residential drop-off assessment, so all the information about that. And then the optional surveys here at the bottom. I picked this member because they have surveys in a couple of different statuses. So there's completed surveys. So this is a survey that has already been done. It's completed. A completed survey cannot be edited. So when it's complete, it's kind of like you're done. Upon completing the survey, the recycling partnership gets notified and they'll go in and verify the data. And so you might see a survey moved into verified status after the recycling partnership has reviewed it and marked it as verified. You might see surveys in draft status like this one here. And so this means it's partially completed. There's some work done in there. It's been saved, but it hasn't been finished yet. And the recycling partnership is not going to see it until it's marked complete. And because it's draft, you can go in and edit it at any time. Then you see surveys that are in the status of new, which means nothing has been done in them yet. So they're just waiting to be completed. If you want to, you can enter in historical data. There are numerous analytical reports here that we have that will give you year-over-year trend information. So, tonnage information, pounds per household trends, contamination trends, that kind of thing. So there's a value definitely in having multiple years entered in here for those trending reports, really to see improvements in your program or changes that might have occurred year over year. I'm going to go back to the active workspace. Now, over on the right-hand side of the active workspace, here, there is program instructions. So again, these are just little tips, little bits of information just to help you get through your forms. You'll be able to read these, and there's links to training videos, or again, links to get help. We want to be here to help you as you move forward. So definitely reach out if needed. Now, once you're ready to start working on the forms, you would just go ahead and click on the buttons, for example, for new. That would then open up the new form for me to get started. I've already kind of pre-completed some of these just so to show you in the training what they look like when they're in different stages. But I'm going to open up the completed one, and just to show you what information gets collected here within the municipality or about your county survey. So when I open it, if it was in draft or if it was in new status, I would be able to edit these fields. I can't right now. They are locked because I've already marked this as complete. So I can't change my answers right now, but I can still show you the questions. Another little helpful resource as you're working through these surveys are survey instructions. So each of the surveys has a set of instructions. Again, you click on it. Hints and tips here about how to complete them. What does draft mean? What happens when you mark it as complete? That kind of thing. So it's just another little resource for you to get some help. So this survey contains information about your demographics. So it's going to ask about your population, your municipal characteristics, or your county characteristics if you're a county. It's going to ask about some of your challenges in waste management. So you can enter those, and some questions in here, it's really just a yes or no, where you only have one choice. But in some, you'll see, like in this one, for example, it's a multiple choice. So you get to choose multiple answers. A lot of the questions are required. They're marked with a red asterisk, as you see right here. So it means you have to enter something in here. But some of them do not have a red asterisk, which means an answer is not required. Or you could just say, I don't know, if you don't know. But if there's no red asterisk, you don't have to answer. It's not required to save the form. So just some different characteristics here about your municipality. And one of the big questions related to this form is, does your municipality deliver education and outreach programming? Now, the MMP surveys have been streamlined to collect information specific to how you answer these questions. So, for example, by saying yes, I'm now able to enter all the information about my education and outreach activities for my municipality. If I were to have said no, it's being delivered by another agency, then I would have seen a question, well, who delivers it? Is it the county? Do you get education information from the state? Is there a private nonprofit group that delivers this type of outreach? So you'll be able to choose the agency that delivers the programs or the education and outreach. Or if you say no, or I don't know, if you answer either one of those, then later on in the survey or in the program, when we look at analytical reports, you'll see a recommendation. So if you don't right now offer any education and outreach to your residents, then you'll be provided with a link to learn how to create effective outreach materials. So it's just a link to help you and support you as you start creating those materials. So sometimes the answer to the question will unlock or open up different areas of the program. So it's all kind of streamlined to work that way. As I scroll down to the education and outreach section, you're going to be asked what kind of outreach you do, how often you do it, your budget, what kind of social media, digital media platforms you use. Do you support any other government agencies? So maybe your municipality also provides education and outreach to the state or to maybe another municipality. Maybe the two municipalities work together and your municipality does outreach for them, all these different combinations of things. So you'll be able to put in, there's free text areas where you can enter in and tell us your story. Let us know how you do your education and outreach, and it'll help inform others. At the bottom is just some information about your organization, if you're a KAB affiliate, if you're a SWANA member, and you'll have the option to select if you want to share any of your data with any of the following organizations. So here's the description of each organization, and Retract Connect, along with the Recycling Partnership, does work with these organizations to help streamline and edit the MMP every year to make sure that the questions they're asking are relevant for industries. So they're really interested in learning what people are doing, and sharing your information with them will help make the program stronger and better in the future. So your insights are very important. At the bottom, you'll have the option to certify and enter your name and certify that your the information here you entered is correct. And then you'll save the form. And at the point of saving it, that's when you'll be asked if you want to create a draft or if you want to mark it as complete. I'm going to go to the next survey, which is the residential curbside assessment, and show you how to save a form and how to save a draft. And then we'll work on this one and we'll mark it complete. So I'm going to go into this one now. And it is a draft. And so this survey is a little bit longer. The previous one was only 1 page. This one here is 6 pages. It asks a lot of information. Each page is tailored to specific types of programming. So the first page is just general information about the programs that your municipality offers. So first of all, do residents in your municipality have access to? So it doesn't matter who delivers it. It doesn't matter what the service is. It's does any resident have access to curbside collection? So we can say yes. And throughout the throughout the survey, you'll see built-in definitions and things like that. So you can always reference those. By saying yes to that question, then it opens up a whole section here. It wants to know, how do I categorize single-family households? So I might have single-family collection that might be different than multifamily, maybe different, dumpsters versus bins, that kind of thing. So my programming characteristics for single-family might be different than multifamily. Maybe your municipality doesn't offer multifamily recycling. So what we want to try and figure out here is, how do you categorize single-family? So is it 1 to 3, 1 to 4? At what point does this service turn into a multifamily service? So I said 1 to 3. So basically, if you're a triplex, you have 3 suites within a unit, a house, or whatever, you still qualify as single family, and you'll get curbside bins perhaps. But if you're more than that, then you would qualify for multifamily, and your delivery would be different. Service delivery. Do you include mobile homes, boats, vans, RVs, that kind of thing? Here again, you can select multiple if needed. And then how do you categorize multifamily? So it's basically, if single family is 1 to 3, multifamily would be at least 4 or more. The next section is important because this is going to help us figure out a lot of our calculations regarding pounds per household, and household numbers are very important when it comes to the analytics. So if you know your single family households and multifamily households, great, just plop them on in. If not, we have a link here to the census. The census link, you can go then to your state. I'll just go to Ohio. And you'll have the option here to search for your municipality. And you'll see your population, as well as all the different family or household numbers, I guess. So single, attached, and detached, and 2 units or 3 to 4 units. So you would just go and add these numbers up, and that would then be used to populate your single family and multifamily household numbers. Some municipalities might have a pay-as-you-throw program, so you can answer yes to that, and then ask yes or no, and put in the characteristics of that program. And you might also have bulky waste pickup. Maybe you do have bulky waste pickup, but you're not sure. You have to double check on what has been what you can collect. So you don't necessarily have to answer the question. You can see here it's a red asterisk item, and if I don't answer it, it's going to tell me it's required. But maybe I've got to check with another teammate and find out what we collect. Maybe I need to also confirm the fee. I know that there's a fee, but maybe I don't know what the fee is. So I'm kind of entering this information as much as I can. I'm going to have to come back to it, but I can save it. And so at the bottom of the survey, you're going to see a save button. And when you do this, it's going to say, okay, this response has a couple of errors. We know, like, there's a couple of fields missing. You can now go back and fix those, or you can just save it as a draft and move to the next page. This is what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. And now it takes me to page 2. So up along the top is where you can kind of navigate the pages. Page 1 you'll see is yellow, and when I hover over that, it says it's completed with 2 errors, which means I have 2 things I need to complete on that page. Page 2, I complete it. It's green. Everything's complete. I don't have any missing data, so I can just show you what kind of information we collect here on page 2. Now this is all related to MSW collection. So do single family households, have access to curbside MSW? So if you say yes, then you get all this information and you can enter in all the details. If you say no, then you just move on to the next page. So when you say yes, it's going to ask how your services, how services are provided. So is it the municipality that provides the service? Maybe residents in your municipality get curbside collection, but it's not provided by the municipality. Maybe it's the county or regional agency that delivers that service. So you can select that. Or maybe it's an open market system. You don't have any oversight. They just contract, each resident or each household would contract individually with a private hauler. So lots of different options here. And based on the answers to this question, you will get additional information. So I said that the municipality provides the service because I wanted to show you all the information that we could collect. So it wants to know how many households are served. So I'm going to say everybody in my municipality, but maybe there might be examples where only a subset of the residents get curbside collection. So you could do a subset as well. You can put in the service provider information. So the hauler names, what type, is it publicly owned? Is it a contracted hauler, franchised hauler? How is service provided? Automatically, or maybe maybe they have to subscribe for the service. If this is like organics or something, maybe they subscribe to it. There's no fee, or maybe they subscribe to it and there is a fee. The collection type, whether it's automatic, semi-automatic, or manual, and collection frequency. Each one of these has an other option. If you select other, you're given an option here to please specify what you mean by the other. And then all the definitions here related to those entities there are listed. If you have more than one hauler, you can click the add button, and that will just give you another line where you can complete for the second hauler if you have more than one service provider. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Now, last few questions here are related to volume-based collection and tipping fee information. So again, you might not know the exact fee, you might just have an average. So there's always going to be options, and there's always an option here for I don't know if you're not sure of that information. But because these are marked with a red asterisk, they are going to be required, so you'll have to enter something. Now, when it comes to MSW, they want to know a little bit about what kind of containers are used. So maybe you might offer a variety of different container options, so you can select whichever one is applicable. Wants to know who those containers are owned by, basically, who provides them, and what type of container. The next section is related to tonnage information. So if you have tonnage, that's great. You could say, yes, I have tonnage, and that would be tonnage specifically for single family MSW. So only single family. In my example, I'm going to say, well, I've got tonnage, yes, but it's not just single family tonnage. It's combined with other MSW tonnage. So when I get a report from my hauler, but it's not just for single family, it's tonnage that it's including other collections. And so if you choose that option, then you're going to be asked what other programs are included in your tonnage. So I'm going to say that the multifamily MSW as well as the drop-off is included in that tonnage. And it tells me I can, enter the amount here of the tonnage, and I have to give an estimate of what I think is curbside single family. So I'm saying 60% of that total tonnage is coming from my single family curbside. If I had just selected yes here, I would have just put one tonnage number in and not had to worry about that. But I wanted to show you that other example as well. And of course, if you don't have tonnage, just select that and this whole section gets hidden. When you do have tonnage, though, we want a little bit more information, like, does it represent the calendar year? Where do you get your reports from? Who provides those reports? And if you have tonnage for or if you have tonnage, for multifamily MSW, you may or may not have that. If you do have it, you can put your multifamily tonnage. Otherwise, you can just say no. Going to go ahead and click save, and it's going to take us to the next page. This one is related all to recycling, single family curbside recycling. So do residents have access to it? It doesn't matter who provides it, but do they have access? And so if they do, you say yes. Now, who provides it? So is it the municipality that provides the service? Is it the county that does the curbside collection? Or is it an open market system? Very similar to the first page. When you select this option, the subsequent questions will be tailored to that option. So we're going to go with municipality again. We're going to say all households here have access to it. And again, our service providers. How many years have we been doing this? So more than 10. We're going to go XYZ hauler, same one. And we're going to say it's contracted hauler, it's automatic, it's automated. Maybe they use the automated arms to lift the carts, and it's done weekly. Again, you can add more. With recycling, the questions do get a little different. Like, you know, what type of curbside recycling? Is it single stream, or you can mark here what you need if you offer more than one kind of recycling collection. And then again, questions about the bins. If you have bins or roll carts, you know, who owns the carts and bins, what kind of carts and bins. So I'll say they're owned by the service provider and they're that big. And you have an ordinance for recycling. If you do, what kind of ordinance? Maybe you have a local statute for mandatory recycling. So then you can put some details in here. Maybe you have a link to on your website to your ordinance information. So you can include that if you like. It's just a text area. You can give us more information. If you know set out rates, that's awesome. You can go ahead and put the set out rates. If you don't know set out rates, or you say, I don't know, again, that will prompt one of those recommendations you'll see. So it will give you tips on how to start collecting information related to set out rates. So that's a good one if you don't know, or if you don't do it currently. But if you do it, then you can put out your set out rate. So maybe I've got a 75% set out rate. And then it wants to know how to determine it. How do I determine my set out rate? Maybe it's through my hauler records or whatnot, but you can describe that methodology there. Contamination when it comes to recycling. Here we go. So do you know your contamination rate? So you might be able to provide an average contamination rate or an approximate contamination rate. Here you can select a range. If you say average, then you can just put in what your rate is here. Or if you say, I don't know, again, that will prompt some recommendations on how to start tracking contamination. So I'm going to say approximate, and I'm going to go with that. Does your municipality engage in contamination control activities? So I'm going to say yes. Maybe I do driver inspections, and I do cart inspections, and I reject contaminated carts or bins. So choose as many as you need here. And do I measure the impacts of my contamination efforts? If I say yes, you can do that. If I say no or I don't know, then you don't have to answer the questions. Last section here, as I'm moving forward, is all about the material that your single-family curbside recycling program accepts. So all of these are required, and if you don't know, just say I don't know. But basically, you're going to go in and say yes or no to all of these questions here. So maybe I do everything here. Maybe I don't do shredded paper, and I don't do any kind of other paper. If you have any exceptions, if there's paper like soiled paper or wax coated or anything like that, you can include that here. And then the plastics section, of course, plastics can get complicated. Here it has every single kind of plastic that could be collected. And if you need more information on all of these plastics, down at the bottom, there's definitions of each and every one of them with examples on what each one of them is. So if you're not sure about the resin, then go ahead and take a look at the definitions. I'm just going to go ahead and say yes to, I'm just going to say, yeah, I do all this except foam stuff, maybe bottles and jars. Say yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 no foam. I'll do that. I'll do that. Maybe I don't that. Maybe I don't do big bulky stuff like this would be like a play structure or kids, play equipment. And I don't do film, and I don't have other plastic. And then glass, of course, glass containers, no other glass. So just going through, marking all this stuff. When you do this once, it seems like a bit of work, right? Entering all this stuff in, but once you have all this stuff entered, it remembers it. And so next year when you go to report, it'll remember all the information that you entered in this area. So we use some information does carry over, which is really nice because sometimes programs are very similar from year to year. And so you'll have the option to change it. If all of a sudden you stopped collecting glass one year, then you could unmark it, right? But it'll default to mark the same that you see here. So that's kind of nice. Basically, the second year reporting is much easier because a lot of this information populates over. Now, tonnage with recycling. So yes, I can provide tonnage. I'm going to put in whatever, 25,000 tons. It's for the calendar year, and I get weight records from my MRF. Oh, it wants the name of the MRF here. There we go. And any information that you want to put, you can. When you click save, it takes you to the next page. Now I do have one error, and I'm like, oh, where's the error? So I wasn't anticipating the error. So I can go and find and fix my error. And it's right here. It tells us about problematic materials in my contamination. So maybe I get a lot of textiles. And so that's, whoops, it just wanted some more information here about what was, are some problematic materials for my contamination. Go ahead now and click save. And it takes me now to page 4. So you can see page 2 and 3 are green. Green's good. Green means all done. So do you offer multi-family, do you offer recycling services to multi-family households separate from single family? So in this example, I'm going to say, no, I don't. But if you did say yes, then it's going to ask you all the information that we kind of just went through on the previous page, but about your multifamily collection. Like, is it a private hauler? What kind of, containers, that kind of stuff. I'm just going to say no and move on to the next page. Page 5 is all about organics, and it's about, curbside organics. So, and this could be anything. It could be trees or leaves, I guess. It could be food, any kind of organic material. And it might be you only offer it certain times of year, maybe just in the fall and spring, or maybe it's something you do year round. But if anybody in your municipality has access to curbside organics, then you would say yes. Again, who provides it? So maybe your municipality does. Maybe you also have a private open market system. Maybe they do some food scrap collection, and you guys do all the yard waste stuff. So you can do a combination here. Maybe everybody can get it, and who is your provider? So you would put that information in here. There we go. And maybe it's a contracted hauler, and they have to maybe pay a fee. So residents have to opt in, pay a fee, and it's automatic, and maybe it's every other week or every week. You can put it in like that. And then add, if you have more than one organics service provider, you can enter more. And again, what kind of stuff do you collect, right? Do they have to be bags? If they're in bags, what kind of bag? Are you going to take a paper bag? Does it have to be a certified compostable bag? Or maybe you can do both. Maybe you don't pick up any organic material in plastic. Maybe you have carts. Maybe you can do loose leaf bundles, or maybe they can just leave their leaves right at the curb and you go with a big vacuum thing and vacuum up. So there's lots of options on how you collect the organics. And let's see here, then you can say, is it year round, or maybe it's just seasonally. So I just want to point out this question above when it says collection frequency. This doesn't mean like weekly all year. You might only do it weekly during fall, right? So this doesn't necessarily mean all year long that it's weekly. You will have the option to identify what months you offer that weekly service. So maybe you do offer it weekly, but it's only during the fall. So we'll say September, October, November. Maybe you do a spring cleanup too, March, April, May. But you don't offer any curbside collection on the other months. Here you can say what kind of stuff you will allow. And so you can say yes for yard clippings. Maybe you do food waste as well because your private haulers can pick that up. Maybe they don't do that. Maybe they do yes and no other. If you accept food waste and yard trimmings in the same container, you can say yes or maybe no because it's two kind of separate programs, so you wouldn't. And your tonnage information. So how much organics do you collect? And for what year? And you get weight records from maybe a public company as well as a private company. Here you can, or a private company or public company, or you can enter other and give a description if one of these options doesn't quite fit. I'm just going to say it's that one. And now I'm going to go ahead and save them. We're so close to finishing this one. So the last page, just one simple question, your name, and yes, you certify that it is complete. And I'm going to go ahead and save this one. And it takes me back to page 1 because it wants to know this bulky waste stuff. So I'm just going to put, okay, got some bulky waste and my fee is $20 for bulky waste. So I'm just going to save it and mark it as complete. So nice work. We got through this one. This is the biggest of the 3. And I can go ahead now and confirm and mark it as complete. Just a reminder, when you mark it as complete, you can't edit it anymore. So if you're not sure or need to verify information, don't mark it as complete. Just go ahead and save it as a draft. But now I'm going to mark it as complete so we can see how that looks. So back on our workspace, now we've got 2 completed surveys and one last one to review. The drop-off survey here is really related to drop-off programs, obviously. If your municipality operates drop-off services, so if they do, then say yes, and you'll get a bunch of questions related to drop-offs. So how many residents have access to it? Maybe the, basically population here. So maybe I've got, 32,000 people that have access to a drop-off. How many drop-off sites do I have? Maybe I've got 3. And how many are staffed? Maybe all 3 are staffed. Do I accept materials from commercial agencies? Yes or no? Maybe no, it's just residential. And then what kind of materials do I accept? So here you would enter maybe all 3 of them collect recyclables, but only one of them collects MSW. So here you would put in, maybe 2 of them collect organics. Maybe 0 collect HHW. So you want to put 0 in here. If you don't enter anything, it will come with those red errors because it wants to know something in here. So maybe I don't do, maybe one of them does scrap tires, sure. Maybe I don't do any that has e-waste and none that has that. And I have one that does this and 0 for other. So that's how you put in the number of sites that collect each material. And here's a description of those materials. And then, of course, all the tonnage information. So you may or may not have tonnage. And if you do have tonnage, you'll get some of the similar questions that we saw in the other surveys. I'm going to say, no, I don't have tonnage for this information here, just to get through the survey quickly. But if you did say yes, then it's going to ask you, how much and year and how you calculate the tons and that kind of thing. The last question is just related to municipalities that might have multiple drop-off locations if they're interested in getting their drop-off locations in our recyclesearch.com website where residents can search the directory and they would get information about your drop-offs. So I'll just say we've already got them in a local directory. And you can just tell us a little bit more about that, tell us a little bit more about your drop-offs if needed. And then the last question is certifying that it's correct. And go ahead and click Save. At this point, I can, again, save as draft or mark as complete. Woohoo! So we got through 3 surveys, all marked as complete. The last 2 here, they're very similar to the drop-off, just short 1-page surveys, but really related to public space services. So, where do you offer recycling and MSW collection in public spaces, tonnage information, that type of thing. It's really good if you have that tonnage information because then it will be included in your calculations for your analytics, like your pounds per household and your diversion rates and things like that. So the more tonnage you can enter in, the better results you're going to get. And the last optional survey here is related to what happens to these recycled and organic materials and MSW when it's processed. So where does it go? What happens to it? This will allow you to print a report called the Environmental Benefits Report. So by recycling or by composting or telling us what you do with that material, then we'll be able to print a report of how many cars were kept off the road, or how many trees were planted based on, or that kind of thing. Sort of EPA. The EPA provides guidance on how to create that report. So it's kind of a nice report, but we need to know what you do with the material in order to be able to print it. So it's a great one to fill out. It's a lovely report. We'll show you here in a moment. Now that we're talking about reports, the reports can only be generated once your survey is marked complete. But up at the top, once they are marked complete, you can get your analytics. So there's different reports. There's performance reports like diversion rate reports and tonnage reports. And here's one of those trend reports. It's going to go for year-over-year trends. I'm just going to show you a couple of reports just to highlight how they work. I'm not going to go into the details of all the reports. Again, if you want to find more information about the reports, please go and take a look at the guide to participating in the MMP. It does describe each report in great detail and gives screenshots as well. So let's just start with the first one, the annual diversion rate. So here for 2020, what do I want a diversion rate of? Maybe just my curbside programs. So you choose the program, you generate it, and it'll tell you what your diversion rate is. So you get graphics as well as a table. And all of these can be exported if you want to just print the image, or you can export the report to PDF. So just one option there on the diversion rate. Some of the reports have a little bit more details to them, like for example, the performance summary report. This one here, you have more choices, right? So do you want to do a recycling tons performance or all program performance, pounds per household? You would just choose your metric here that you want to report on. So let's do total recycling tons, and maybe I also want to do curbside diversion rate. Maybe those two are important for me. So I can generate those, and basically it's just giving you the results of your survey in a nice little readable block. I talked a little bit about the environmental benefits of recycling. That's this one here. You need to have completed that processing facilities assessment, but it uses the EPA's WARM model to calculate the carbon dioxide equivalents. And so here you can see how many barrels of oil were conserved, or passenger cars were removed from the road, or tree seedlings grown. So it's a really nice report. It's got some nice visuals, but we'd have to have that processing facilities assessment completed. The economic benefits of recycling is similar. Here you can see, I'll show you what that looks like. So here you can see the economic benefits of recycling. You can see where this information is coming from. It's coming from the EPA. There's a link to their site to get more information on the source of this. But basically it tells me the total tons that was recycled. And based on that, it's calculating how many jobs were created and wages attributed, as well as tax revenue attributed for that amount of recycling. So again, a nice visual report. So go ahead and take a look at the performance reports as you start completing your surveys. There's also some benchmarking reports if you want to see how your program is comparing to other programs across the US. So here is how my program is comparing to the United States national average. So for pounds per household, I'm pretty high up here in Springfield. That's great. But you can see my pounds per household compared to the national average. Or the other report allows you to benchmark your program performance against your peers. So other municipalities, other states or municipalities of similar size. So again, a great report to just see how your program performance compares to others. And lastly, this is the recommendations report. And this is a report that's going to look at the answers to the questions that you had. I can't remember if there, I did one, perfect. It looks at the answers to the questions that you were asked, and it'll provide recommendations. So I mentioned that my contamination rate was between 60 and 20%. And so here I can now access a kit from the Recycling Partnership that will give me information about reducing contamination. So this will take me then to the Recycling Partnership. So just depending on how you've answered the questions in the survey, you might see different recommendations, but all of these analytics will be ready for you once you've completed your forms. So I think that takes us to the end of the training. I really hope that you found this helpful. I really want to make sure that you know how to get help. So I'm going to go back to the municipalmeasurement.com. You can go to this website at any time. And again, you can always contact us either through the system, how I've shown you, through those different support portals and links within the program, or email mmp@retract.com. Thank you so much and have a great day.